Hello, welcome to my video post. We're going to be discussing light bulbs today. Let's say, as a college student who is wise in the ways of finance and budgeting, that you have a situation, a light bulb goes out in your apartment, so you go to replace it. You go to the local Home Depot and you look at the light bulbs. You think it's a much simpler task, but when you get there you see that there are many different kinds of light bulbs. You quickly see an LED light bulb, and you see one, and it costs, we'll put a category up here, $14.97. Not what you're looking to spend for a light bulb. A little bit more pricey than what you're into. That's 3 hot and ready pizzas right there. You see next to it a CFL. It stands for compact fluorescent light bulb. And you see that for a light bulb it costs $1.24. A little bit more in your price range. But then you see an incandescent light bulb. This is the one you grew up with, it's the one you recognize, it's the one you know. And you see a pack of 4 for $1.48, which per light bulb comes out to be 37 cents. Looking like a good deal. Immediately you're thinking, the incandescent's the best buy. The CFL, not so much. The LED, definitely not. But then you think, you know what, there's cost of electricity that I need to factor in. This incandescent light bulb is 60 watts. That's the amount of power it uses. The CFL is 14 watts. And the LED is 10.5 watts. Watts is the amount of power that this light bulb uses, and immediately you see that the incandescent uses a lot more energy than the CFL and the LED. So maybe you start to think the incandescent isn't such a great deal. So the question is, which light bulb is the best deal? Using some financial savvy and some quick math, we can figure that out. So to start out, you realize that this incandescent light bulb lasts 1,000 hours. The CFL lasts 10,000 hours, and the LED lasts 20,000 hours. Quickly you see that the CFL lasts 10 times as long as the incandescent, and the LED 20 times longer than the incandescent. So you get a lot more usage out of what you're paying for it. We can also calculate the total electricity cost per bulb. To do that, it's not too difficult. You take the price of electricity, 10 cents, multiply it by the kilowatts. We have it in watts, so to get it in kilowatts, you just move the decimal point 3 places over. And then you multiply it by the number of hours that you're going to be using it. In this case, it's 1,000 hours. So this gives you a cost of electricity of $6 for an incandescent light bulb, $14 for a CFL, and $21 for an LED. So that's pretty good. You see that this is more than the incandescent, but also you get to use it for 10 times longer. So really it's not as much. The LED even more so. Quickly you can get the total cost per bulb, factoring in the purchase price and also the price of electricity. The total cost per bulb comes out to be $6.37 for an incandescent. For an LED, comes out to be about $15.24. And for a CFL, a whopping amount of $35.97. So we see that factoring these things into play, the light bulb comes out to be still cheaper than the CFL, but we got to remember that this is over a time period of 10 times longer than what this is, and still half as long as what this is. So we need to normalize these somehow. So let's find out how much everything would cost over a time period of 20,000 hours. By the way, to get these in days, most people recommend or average about 3 hours per day of light bulb usage. So this comes out to be per light bulb about 330 hours over the cost of, or 330 days, my apologies. And over the course of an LED, this is about 18 years. So if we get the total cost that it would cost, including electricity and the price of all the light bulbs you would have to buy over 20,000 hours or 18 years, you're looking at $127.40 for an incandescent. For the CFL, you're looking at $30.48. And for an LED, you're looking at $35.97. So we see that CFL over the 18-year period is really going to save you some money going this route. The LED close behind, the incandescent, well, it isn't looking at all what it used to be when you were in the store. But let's continue this a little bit more. Taking an economics class, you may have heard of something called the net present value, or the NPV. This is something that takes into account what's called a discount rate. A discount rate is a fancy word for saying how you value your money. If you have a lot of credit card debt that you need to be paying off, and instead of paying off that credit card debt, you're going to be spending it on LEDs, and say your credit card has an interest rate of 18%, then your personal discount rate is going to be somewhere around 18%. You know, it's what else you could be doing with your money. If you don't have any credit card debt and you want to go make an investment, your discount rate would be the rate you could get on an investment, maybe 3.5%, 4%. For this case, we're going to take a discount rate of 3.5%. Using that, and plugging that into our net present value calculator, we won't show it here because of time constraints, but you can easily do it on Excel. There's a plethora of videos on YouTube to figure that out. But we'll just list it here, the net present value. For an incandescent is $97.29. For a CFL is $23.87. And for an LED, it's $16.74. So because this cost for the light bulbs are spread out over an 18-year period, we need to bring it back and relate it all to current time, to present time. The value of money changes over time, so we need to make this value into present terms. So in present terms, the cost of an LED for electricity and the light bulb, in present terms over 18 years, would be $16.74. For a CFL, it's $23.87. For an incandescent, well, you can see the damage. So really quickly, if we want to assume that there's 25 light bulbs in a house, the total cost for replacing these bulbs and running them on electricity in your house, multiply everything by 25 here because there's 25 bulbs we're assuming in your house, $2,437.25. For a CFL, $584.25. And for an LED, you're looking at $418.50. A little bit more perhaps than what you thought you were going to be spending. So the savings, if you look at it, you're spending a lot more for an incandescent than you are for a CFL, or for CFLs or for LEDs. So looking at the savings you get switching to CFLs from incandescents, you're looking at $1,848. For a LED, you're looking at $2,014 switching to LEDs from CFLs. That's a pretty big chunk of change. Over 18 years, maybe it's not so much, but right now, $1,800 can get you a lot of things. If you think about it, $1,848, excuse me, can get you 370 hot and ready pizzas from Little Caesars. Or, if you think about it, that's one pizza every 18 days. Likewise, a CFL, the savings switching to a CFL from an incandescent will get you 403 pizzas, or one pizza every 16 days. So really, we see that, both of these are looking like good options. However, the cost to replace a whole household of light bulbs is $374 for an LED and $31 for a CFL. The upfront cost is a lot less. As a struggling college student, CFLs are going to be your best option. They save you a lot more money up front, and they save you just about as much money over the long haul. Thank you.